What's up? What's up, everybody? How is everybody tonight? Welcome to another episode of Rock the Mic, Saturday, May 20th. Good evening. It's a very tight evening, what with basketball and all. But for those who are going to join me, for those who plan to join me, welcome. I'm happy to have you here with me. Let's settle down and try and get some things rolling here, guys. Listen, all of us Jamaicans, whether we are at home or we are abroad, we got some earth shattering news early on in the week. I don't know if you're all aware, but their Prime Minister and Dr. Nigel Clark announced some massive, massive remuneration packages for certain sectors of the society. And those are some of the things I'd love to discuss tonight if you are here. So guys, for those who are gonna join me, please log on and let's make this a productive evening. So let me start by putting something in the chat. Okay. Welcome to Rock the Mic. Good. Now, guys, as usual, David Henry, glad to have you here. Glad to have you, Davy. Give me a sound check, man. Let me know what the sound is like. Is it clear? Okay. How is everybody this evening, man? Okay. Shaggy, glad to see you too. Wow. This is Mr. Green. How is everything, Derek? Happy to have you here. Guys, let me tell you, what happened this week could be very explosive or it could be a move in the right direction. There are many people who came out very strongly against the Prime Minister and Dr. Clark. And there are some people who really are supporting them. So before we go any further, Daffy and Derek, give me a sound check. How is the sound? Loud enough? Clear enough? So people were against the move vociferously. The criticism came down in torrents. And there are some people who said, hey, right move, right direction, right time. How do you see it? Okay, thank you, Shaggy. Now, here's what I want to know. When this thing came out, there was, I think, Friday morning, there was supposed to be a big demonstration at Emancipation Park. For anybody in Jamaica who is listening, could you let me know in the chat, how did that go? How did that go? How did that protest at Emancipation Park? What was it like? Was it well attended? Was it scantily attended? What did it turn out into a political event? I'd love to know that from somebody in Jamaica, somebody in Kingston. Let me know. What was that protest at Emancipation Park like? Because I want to see how Jamaicans took this, whether they took it lying down or and they just decided this was another mandate from government or they were gonna protest. I'm opening it up to people. In fact, later on I'm gonna be trying to take some calls to see if we can get this thing going, if we can have a good discussion going. So guys, if you are logged on, anybody from Jamaica here, anybody who is in Kingston at the moment, could you let me know what was that demonstration like at Emancipation Park? What is that protest like? Protest at Emancipation Park. Let me see if I can write that in the chat. Emancipation Park. What was it like? Come on, guys. I'm asking a question here. Now, a lot of us get on Facebook. A lot of us get on Facebook and we post stuff. I find a lot of people on Facebook post and run. They'll say a sentence, they voice an opinion, and they scoot off. I'm offering you the opportunity here, guys, to come on, say something. I'll be taking calls in a little while. I have a 407 number. It's a Google Voice number. You can call. Listeners can hear you. I'd love to hear what you think, how strongly you feel about this issue. Was the minister right? Was the prime minister right? Was it time for a move like that? At first, we thought it was just a change for the politicians, but turned out other people were included, like teachers, lawyers, doctors, nurses. Is that a good move? Yay or nay? Don't just sit there quietly, guys. I need your participation. I need your participation. Only with you taking part can we get this thing going. Anyway, before we move on, I'd like to show a little clip. I'd like to show a little clip with Dr. Nigel Clark explaining to Dion Jackson Miller about the moves. And tell me, are you convinced? Are you still skeptical? What do you think about this? So let's see if we can get that going. Give me a minute. Let me try and set that up. Let me try and set that up. Let's see if we can get this thing going here. All right, listen up, guys. Now, I want you to listen to the minister's response. I want you to listen to the minister's response. Okay? Let's see. Let's see. There's no sound coming out here. Let's see. Oh my gosh. Let's see if we can get this going. I'm trying to get this sound share tab audio. Let's see. Can we get this going? All right. I don't know if you guys heard the sound. If anybody heard the sound, could you let me know? Mr. Spence, welcome, welcome. I'm gonna give you guys a chance to chime in and come on the phone and say something. But guys, when we look and compare the rest of the Caribbean, compare what the people in the rest of the Caribbean, what they're getting. Jamaica has made, hey, it's a very bold move. Or some will say it's a very foolhardy move. What do you say, Mr. Spence? How do you look at what took place the other day? How do you look at what took place the other day, Mr. Spence? Would love to hear from you. Would love to hear from you, Brother Orville. Let me try and share this page again and see if we can get this thing going here. Okay, here we go. Just look at the rates. Look at the raises. Prime Minister of Jamaica. This year he's making what, 25 million. Next year it goes up to 28. Look at the Deputy Prime Minister from 22 million to 25. Minister of Finance from 21 million to 24. Now, what caught my attention was the leader of the opposition. Leader of the opposition is currently getting 22 million. Next year, his salary jumps up to 25.7 million. Now, seriously, guys, if you're the minister, if you are the leader of the opposition, why the heck do you want to get involved in an election? Just hold your position. You're getting 20, you'll be pulling down 25 mil. Just 3 million less than the prime minister. What incentive is there for the leader of the opposition to lead his party against the present government? But look at the big jump in salary, guys. Look at the big for a cabinet minister from 20 million to 22 million. What do you guys say about this? Mr. Spence, I'd love to see what you put in the chat. Put something in the chat, Orville. Are you with this or are you against this? I can almost tell which side you're on, but would love to hear. Would love to hear from you. Is the government justified? Can they justify these big raises? David Henry said, "Oh, Derek Reed said 300% for these guys is crazy." Some people think not. Some people think not. David Henry agreed. Selfishness. Hi, Gracie. Night, not bite. Good night. Yes, some people there are some people who think this is great. But that big jump in salary, if I were the leader of the opposition, I just hold my corners because I get this big salary. Now, something I want to ask you, especially Orville, you should know that. Like Portia Simpson, PJ Patterson, and Bruce Golding, do they still pull down a salary being former prime ministers? And if they do, will this raise apply to them? Orville, if you know anything, let me know. Please, let us know in the chat. If you know anything, Orville, let us know. Portia, Bruce Golding, and PJ, what do they get? Do they still get paid as a being former prime ministers? And they're totally not justified. It's unconscionable. Why do you say that, Orville? Why do you say that? Some people are saying the Minister of Finance should have done this years ago. But I'm asking, how is it that almost every country is going through a recession, but Jamaica came out from COVID better than almost every freaking country in the world? Came out better than everyone in the Caribbean. Do you guys believe this? What do you think? Coming out of COVID, were we that well off? I think not. And I think the money was there all along. But with the government making this announcement, it's as if they didn't care what people were going to say. They knew they would get a blowback here. But I believe they just said, hey, to heck with it. Let's go through with it because after a couple of days, everything's going to die down as it usually does. In any country in the world, you make the headlines, bad news make the headlines for a couple of days and then it just dies down. And obviously saying all ex-prime ministers get a pension relative to the salary they received at the end of their tenure. Okay, so PJ and Portia and Bruce would not get any increase. All right. Something else you mentioned on Facebook, I think was you, Orville. Why is it that we in Jamaica pay the GG? Can anybody explain that? Why does the Governor General pull down a salary from the Jamaican government? Why? Shouldn't he be paid by England? He's representing England. Shouldn't he be paid by England? Can anybody shed some light on that? But let's look at a couple of the other packages that were highlighted by the Minister of Finance. For example, nurses. Let's look at what these nurses will get. Let's look at the package that was going to the nurses. Okay, and here we see nurses in leadership position, not all the nurses, over 300% increase. Previously, 3.3 million, now 10.9 million. So if you are one of them nurses in the leadership position, hey, your salary gets bumped up. Dividends your business. Shouldn't pay a big salary to any worker without successful outcomes. It's going to be unsustainable in the long run. Yes, I'm curious to see how the heck will the government sustain this. I'm curious to see this. But for nurses in leadership positions, hey, that's a big jump for them. That's a big jump for them. Can you imagine jumping from 3 mil and now getting 10 mil? What do the other nurses down below? I wish one of them would log on and tell us what does it mean for them. What does it mean for the person there who is, has the boots on the ground, people who are working at ground zero? What does it mean for them? That's what I'd love to know. So that's the salary for the nurses. Let's look on another area. Let's look on another area now. Let's look at teachers. And this is coming up with the trained teachers. Let's see what these trained teachers will be getting. Let's look and see what a trained teacher will be getting. Okay, here we have it. Trained teachers, 100% increase. They're making 1.04 million and now they're up to 2.08 as of April 2023. So these are trained teachers. These are trained teachers. I'm curious to see what, like a principal or a assistant principal, what they would be getting. What they'll be getting. And Orville is saying, hey, the GG is a ceremonial head of state. And just like the other Caribbean states, we pay him in accordance. When we got independence, we should have negotiated that England pays salary. I think so too. I think England should pay this guy salary. All right. But apart from ceremonial duties, what does the GG do? Vanelli says Jamaica is losing nurses to other countries, so to retain them, they have to boost their salaries. I agree with that. And I heard the Prime Minister say to attract more young people into politics, that's one of the reasons why, one of the reasons for the salary increase. Does anybody believe that? Does anybody believe that? To attract more people into politics, you pile on this humongous increase. Okay, let's look at doctors. Let's look at what the doctors are getting here and see how this works. Okay, so the doctors at the MO1 level, 200% increase. Previously 2.2 mil, now 7.5. And as they go up a step, the increase is more. So, hey, if you're a doctor, hey, it's good for you. It is quite, hey, peaches and cream, man, if you're a doctor. Let's look at one last category here. One last category. And I think this will be the lawyers. I think this will be the lawyers. So let me find that window to share and boom. Lawyers coming up. Okay, let's look at this increase for the lawyer. Level 1 legal officer. If they all get 100% increase from 1.9 to 3.7 mil, 2.3 to 4.59 million, and it steps up like that. So if you have passed the bar, hey, you're in good stead. You are in good stead. But can somebody tell me what was a protest at Emancipation Park like? I'd love to know, guys. I would love to know. Now, let me give people, I don't know if anybody is brave enough to let their voice be heard. I don't know. People have always shied away from this, but there it is. Number on the screen. If you care to call in, if you care to call, let me hear you and let others hear you. So we have a 407-479-8517 number. If you want to let your voices be heard. Now, Orville is saying, I'm not disputing that an increase for MPs, councillors, and ministers of government is not necessary. But an increase of such magnitude is wrong. An increase of such magnitude is wrong. Oh, the protest was mediocre. So, do you think, Orville, do you think these politicians accurately assessed the Jamaican populace and knew that, hey, the people would not come out, the people would not raise Cain over this? Do you think they read us up properly, knowing that, hey, this thing will blow over in a minute? Okay, let's see here. Yes, caller, how are you doing? Hello? Yeah, man, go ahead. Not too bad, man. Go ahead. What do you want to say? What do you want to say, buddy? Hmm. Hmm. Right, right. Hmm. Uh huh. Right. Hmm. Hmm. Right. That's true. Hmm. Hmm. Right. Hmm. Business can't sustain it. Hmm. Hmm. True. True. Right. Right. Hmm. Right. Hmm. Hmm. Okay. A country run better. Hmm. Our, our simple logic. Hmm. 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 Okay. 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 See. Okay. Right. You have tied them over. Good. Hmm. 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 The man that come in and help. Right. Hmm. Wow. We have. Yeah, man. Hmm. Yeah, man. Listen, man. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Thanks. Thanks for the call. Some of the listeners. Yeah. Some of the listeners said they couldn't hear. So I. All right, guys. I. All right, guys. I'm sorry about that. You're not hearing, but gentleman was saying, look, hey, these people need to serve. If you come to serve, serve. Don't line your nest. Don't listen. We ex- poli- every politician know they go in as basically career politicians. They're going in it for life, and they're making sure that when they leave, they'll have a good pension package. What the caller was saying is that, for example, when it comes to medical services, yes, Alvin, I don't know what went wrong a while ago. When it comes to medical services, everybody has to line up and go down KPH and these little clinics. While these politicians, they are able to fly out to Miami and Fort Lauderdale. Is that fair? How fair is that? But at the same time, you got to ask yourself, why do we keep voting them back in time and time again? Isn't it time that we hold them accountable? For example, I think, and I don't know what you think, do you guys think there should be term limits? We shouldn't have career politicians. What do you guys think? Put it in the chat for me, please. Do you think we should have term limits where a politician can only serve for X amount of years and then he has to move on? And what do you think about introducing this thing, this whole political thing in schools, in high school? Once we used to do civics and stuff like that. But don't you think we should teach our kids so we can attract the brightest, the smartest ones, not the greediest? I mean, few politicians go in and not become greedy. But what do you guys think? Yes, David, where is the term limits? How long? How long should a politician be allowed to remain in office, David? In your estimation, how long should he be allowed to remain in office? Give me an idea. Give me an idea when you say he should stay in for X amount of months, X amount of terms. What do you guys think? But everybody's going in and just lining their pockets. Two term, 2 terms maximum, 10 years. Yeah, but yeah, you have some people who going in from, my God, man, I've heard about them all my life. And they're gonna serve and then they're gonna bring in their kids or their daughters. And you know, we have stuff like that going on. But why is it that we put up with it? Why do we put up with it? But from what the Prime Minister and the Minister of Finance have announced, do you think they'll have to retract? What do you guys think? Do you think they'll walk it back or they know that the Jamaican people won't do anything? I heard a guy say the other day, look, normally Jamaican block road for everything. The block road burn tires, everything. How come they didn't do it for this? How come they didn't do it for this? And with the opposition, I don't know if you heard what that spokesman said. Oh, he has no problem with what the Minister of Finance did. So wouldn't you say they're complicit in it? Yes, Derek, recall and term limits. Don't you think the PNP is complicit in this whole thing? Not a peep out of them. Not a peep. In fact, why would they complain? Their salary going up. Hey, Sonny, what happened? Why would the PNP complain? If you're an MP for the PNP, you're cool. You're sitting cool. Yes, David, something is wrong in this picture. Poor country, rich politicians. And trust me, these politicians are rolling in dough. And the little man, what hurts is that the little man down at the bottom don't seem to mind. He seems to be okay with it. As we say in Jamaica, all he want to do is eat a food, you know? He just want to eat a food. As long as that happens, I'm cool. And what I was talking with some of my close batchmates, this thing about people being a die-hearted Labourite or a die-hearted PNP. What do you guys think about that? Where there are people who will vote for a party no matter what. No matter what that party does. My die-hearted one. My granny, my uncle, everybody in my family vote JLP. I am JLP. Without even looking at one single issue. Without even looking at one thing that the PNP or the JLP stands for. What do you guys think about that? Based on the most recent statement from Burgard, he's not prepared to walk back. Come to the people with just take it. Yeah, you should be a Jamaican first, man. If your party wrong, them wrong. If I'm right, okay, fine. I'm so surprised about the decision of the People's National Party. It was their chance to make a comeback. Yeah. And they just take the damn thing. They just, hey, they were happy with it. Yeah, the oral said PNP's complicity increase. But ask yourself, if you are a, if you are a PNP NP, why the heck would you quarrel? If your salary made that big jump, oh my God. And I'm gonna ask you guys, if and when the next election is called, what are the chances of either party? What do you think? What do you think, guys? What are the chances of first? Let's look at the JLP. What are the chances of JLP keeping being the government again? What do you think? Do you think we'll have that low turnout again, or do you think this time the people will come out and vote? Because one of the biggest knocks against the PNP is the way they handle crime. Okay, I will say he's a comrade, but very disappointed in their position. What did you expect them to do, Orville? What were you hoping they would do? Orville, honestly, what were you hoping? Yeah, yeah, man, we know you're a comrade. What were you hoping the PNP would do? you, what, what, you, Orville, you're dissing your party leader like that, man? But I heard something where the man is polling like 14%. Is that so? Well, but Peter's, I know Stone is a die hard to come with, but I'm so ashamed of political system in J right now. So, okay, so now, die hard to come with. What if the JLP puts something out there that is good for the country? Would you give them credit? Would you give them credit or would you just find fault with it? If you're in opposition, you're there to oppose. Is that so? Can you compliment the government for something that they have done good, done well? Or should the opposition be just there to oppose? Yes, but Orville, you're on the ground there. You're ground zero. If Golding is not going to be the leader that people get behind, who would the people get behind? And you're hoping that they would have refused the massive increase. Do you think that that would have bought them favor of the people? If as a whole the JLP says no, we don't want this increase. Hmm? And so they're saying yes, she would if it's something to uplift the country. Do you think they would have been at? Do you think that would have given them some brownie points with the people if the JLP guys had said no, we are refusing this increase, this massive increase, this chance to line our pockets, we don't want it. How do you think that would have gone over the people? Chris, they're not refusing. Yeah, they're not refusing money. Yeah, man, I'd love to hear from somebody there. If not Golding, then who? If not Golding, then who? And Orville, as a comrade, can you help me out with this one? In St. Mary, they're having these aspirants go through this selection process to represent the party. Why wasn't that done in Spanish in St. Catherine? I saw in St. Catherine where um, Golding intervened and decided, hey, he wants this guy to run. Why was it put through the position like the situation like it was done in St. Mary, where you're gonna have them go in front of a committee, whatever? Why did Golding step in? What was his reason? Your Orville says if they had refused, it would have put them in a better position with the populace. Okay, so you want Lisa Hanna or Damien Crawford? Do you think Damien has that level of maturity, or he tends to shoot from the lip sometimes? What do you think? What do you think about Crawford? Yeah, I'm trying to get him. I'm trying to get him on the program one night. I think I missed my opportunity the other day. Because his aunt was setting up something for me. It was my fault. I didn't follow up. But one night I'll have Damien on. One night I promise I'll have him on. Yep. But when you talk about Hannah and Crawford, you're going very young. Do you think Jamaica is ready for this? You think Jamaica is ready for these youngsters? Let me hear what you have to say, guys. Don't be afraid to put stuff in the chat. They had a so-called poll in St. Catherine, which indicated that Dawes would be more successful than the with the electorate. Hence the decision. Okay, I'm wondering if he would make that same decision in say St. Mary, saying, "Hey, Tom is better than Harry. He'll have a better chance." Okay. If you see guards guiding, what's that? If you see guards guiding any government building during working hours, tell them the thieves are ready. Oh God, oh God, son, yeah, that that one is cold. That one is cold. That one is. But I remember way back in the '90s, I listened to Ian Boyne one evening, and he was interviewing a prominent JLP, yeah, prominent JLP MP, and I remember the man said, and these are his exact words: "I came into politics poor, and I don't intend to leave like that." I couldn't believe I couldn't believe the man said it on national TV. Said I came in poor and I don't intend to leave like that. But we the people have put up with it for too long. I think we have really put up with this skullduggery for too long. We know what's going on, but we keep voting back these people every year, every election. We just keep putting them back in, putting them back in. I mean, we only see them once every 5 years. We're looking at it wrong. I think we need to overhaul the whole political system, new rules, etc. David, we had a discussion today, and that sounds good. But look how long it took us to get to where we are today. It's gonna take us another 50, 60 years to overhaul this thing, man. Because there's some things that are so deeply entrenched in our society that it's gonna take a generation or two to get us out of this muck. It's gonna take a generation or two to really climb out of this. Because listen, this thing, just take a look at it. The buying of votes. You'll have an MP come around with good ideas for the community. He'll have good ideas, good ways to move the community forward. But if him not let off, no, no, go on. Him have to let off. I heard Pernell Child give a description of what happens when he gets out of his car to walk through his constituency. How in the space of maybe quarter mile, how much money I have to give out. And if you're not giving no money, you saw it, you're not getting the vote. We can't overhaul a system with Alibaba and his friends still in control. Yeah, and I think we have to look forward to the youth. But guys, we have so many intelligent people, so many people with a lot of smarts at U and at the colleges, and I think we need to tap into some of those people. We need to tap into some of these youngsters coming out with vibrant ideas, ways of moving the people forward. We don't want these guys who just every 4 or 5 years, that's when they drive around the community with in a van back with loudspeakers, blaring music and put up posters on every light post. No man, we have come too far for this. We have come too far for this. But uh, David, I think it's gonna come to that one day. I think it's gonna come to that one day where blood will be spilled and lives will be lost. French or Haitian Revolution. I I think that it's gonna a drastic overhaul is gonna be the result. Yeah, the youngsters are disenchanted with politics and politicians, and I honestly believe that, and I believe that's one of the reasons for all this crime. especially the scamming. A youngster coming out of school, what the heck does he have to look forward to? What the heck does he have to look forward to? When he can do, they call it be a chopper. Yeah, we're not giving them anything to look forward to. And now we hear that these no no, but just think of the ordinary man in the street feels. An ordinary man who is struggling to put bread on the table, struggling to keep a roof over his head. And you hear that your MP salary's gone up by several millions, 3, 4 million, and you are still down there struggling. And this MP is coming to tell you, no, you gotta vote. No, that MP, and I think the MPs are gonna be in for some problems come next election, because now that they have gotten this big increase, people in the community expect more. I don't mean expect more to be done. They're going to expect more dollars. Why you joke? You get 4 million more. You better let off some more. My vote now costs more. My vote now costs more. But like I said today to some of my batchmates, the comrades, the PNP keep blaming the GLP for the vote buying thing, and the PNP I find speak from some high moral ground. You can talk all you want, If you don't win the election, you can't do nothing. Not that I'm encouraging the PNP to go buy votes, but hey, like I said, one side is carrying a gun to a knife to a gunfight. If the other guy is doing XYZ and beating your butt, you have to take stock of what you're doing. Not that I'm saying, hey, you have to go break the law too, but you've got to take stock of what you're doing. You can't keep from this high moral ground. We'll never do this. We'll never. That's great, but you're still gonna lose the election. You're still gonna lose the election. And from the last election with this low turnout, if that happens again, the PNP are back in the doldrums. But guys, what do you think about what the Minister of Finance said? That Jamaica came out of this COVID better than any other Caribbean country. What do you think? Hey, Lorraine, how you doing? Poor CDC will always be poor on this kind of politics. Oh my God, Lorraine. You're right. But what do you think about when he said that Jamaica came out better than any other Caribbean country? Better than the Bahamas. What the fried fish himself talking about? And people are just gonna take that. Some people are just gonna take that and run with it. But I don't know if you watched the interview properly and saw at the start he didn't want the lady to speak at all. Votes are bought on both sides. It's a person with the most cash who decides who win. It could be true. Could be true. Yeah, you got to have the money to let off. You got to have that money. You got to have the money. And since you guys are on the ground, Lorraine, Orville, analyze the last election for me. Why do you think the JLP won? I don't know if you call it a JLP victory or a PNP loss. The late Michael Manley once said, "We're not for sale." But right now, it's a bigger bragger that's shining. The finance minister is trying to justify his neophyte blunder. Do you think it was a blunder? Do you think it was a blunder? Blunder is a mistake, Do you think it was a blunder or this was a calculated move? Think about it. Blunder or a calculated move, knowing that Jamaican people are just gonna be in uproar for a couple of days and then everything dies down. What do you think? Neophyte blunder? Anybody else has that idea that the finance minister just made a mistake? I Boy, deep down to me, I don't think I don't know how you look at it. I don't think it's a mistake at all, boy. I think he's just finding some what he said is just somewhere justifying what he did. But I can't see Jamaica. saying him claiming that we came out better than anybody else because of what Jamaica had put in place. I really don't see that. Greed blinded them. Greed blinded them. Orville, Derek, you in business there. What do you think about all this influx of Chinese? What do you think? Orville said it was a political blunder and it will cost them dearly at the polls. If a big if the PNP can get their house in order. And Orville, my question to you is, what does the PNP need to do to get the house in shape? Be blunt. Be blunt. I know it's your party, but tell it like it is. What do they need to get their house in shape? What do if you could say to the PNP, do this, what would you tell them? And Ivan, welcome in. It's not a blunder. Politician knows that voters have short memory. That's what I think too, Ivan. That's what I think. Couple of days, everybody will be in an uproar, and then the next news story, they forget it. Oh my God. Oh my God, son. I want you to repeat that. I want you to repeat that. Yeah. Oh, you have no issue with the Chinese. Okay, good, good, good. All right. There are other people out there, a lot of people out there who would beg to differ. Yes, but what would you say to your party over there? What's the first move they have to make? What's the first thing the PNP would have to do? What is the first thing the People's National Party would have to do if they want to unseat the GLP? Do you think the PNP has overlooked the youth? Do you think they have lost touch with the young people? Or do you think people just decided, hey, these two guys out front running, neither of them is capable, so I'd rather not vote? What do you think the turnout? I know I'm throwing a lot of questions at you, but what do you think the turnout will be for the next election? Think it's going to be a low one like the last election, or people will come out? Because I remember one of the things Honest ran on was, hey, to cut down crime. We need a new leader to garner momentum. A party's main, let me see if I can get this, a party's main function is to win an election at any cost. And you think Golding has no clue. And you would be pushing, you'd be pushing Hannah and what's the name of that youngster again? I can't remember his name. You'd be pushing those two. Have some issues with the Chinese and how government have rolled over to them. Yeah, David, I hear a lot of people. I hear a lot of people complaining. I hear a lot of people complaining. By the way, guys, if you're just joining us, we were discussing those massive increases to people like the parliamentarians, and we want to know if this was something calculated by the JLP or just a blunder by the Minister of Finance. And we're looking at the People's National Party. What would they have to do in order to win the next election? What would they have to do? And is there any way the JLP can screw up more than they're doing now, especially when it comes to handling crime? Do you think either party can handle the crime wave? Do you think either party can get this tsunami of crime in check? Honest, honest opinion, guys. What do you really think? Do you think either of the parties can do it? Can the JLP do it? Can the PNP do it? Because I've seen some recordings of things Hornes said before he got in power what he would do, and now he seems to have forgotten them. But the People's National Party have this kind of. I was hearing a man the other day saying this could not be the party of the Mandates. This is not the party of the Mandates. So, guys, if you're watching, come on, participate. We need your input. I need your input in this. Jamaica, that's our home for those of us who are in the diaspora. One day we hope to return, and we hope when we return we can make meaningful contributions. I hope I hope we'll all go back and try and help out the country. And I know or people have different ideas of the returning residents. Based on the recent pronouncement by the hierarchy of the PNP, I have no faith in them managing crime. So we can put an X by crime, nix out crime, or the horse gone to the gate. So what else? What other area would the PNP tackle and try to outdo the JLP in? Because I believe things like tourism take care of itself. But what what other area? What other area? Wait, don't tell me that we don't have any more comrade in the room, or we don't have any labor right in the room, just to hear your side. Let me now go back. Show them a labor right in power. no, no, son, you have to go back and make your contribution. We left too early. We have to, it's a big question. It's a big question mark for some of us. So, do we go back? Can we go back? People always say you can't return home. Is that true? Is that true? I would like to think not. But guys, in the coming week, where do you see this proclamation by the JLP going? Do you think it will just fade out, their natural death? Do you think by say Wednesday people will have forgotten this, seeing that the PMP ain't saying nothing? Mark is an open-minded guy. Which Mark are you talking about here now? Which Mark are you talking about? Mark Golding? Open-minded. And if it's Golding, guy seems like a nice guy, but I I get a feeling that he cannot galvanize people behind him. He cannot look. A comrade is always going to be comparing these guys to, hey, Portia, who was very popular, and PJ. And from what I hear people saying, he falls short of that. He falls short of that. If PNP can tackle healthcare, and make it more affordable, that's a winning ticket. Oh my God, I cannot believe our healthcare has gone down like that. Cornwall Regional, KPH, Jubilee, and Port Mary, who had a good hospital was here, and now it's just a little clinic. Come on, Jesus Christ. You want treatment, you better jump on a plane and head for Miami or Cuba or somewhere like that. If PNB can tackle the healthcare, yep. Sorry, not rather, or yes, I, I always thought so, David. I always thought so. Orwell would make a good politician, but I don't think he's ready to turn over the business to his kids yet. In fact, I think the kids run it anyway, so he has time. Yeah, man, Orwell can do it. I tell you, we have a lot of people coming out of high schools, coming to college who, yeah, they could do it. But I don't think some people want to get their hands dirty. We have to be reunited to curb the crime that's going on. Everyone has to take responsibility. I think the main thing about this crime in Jamaica is the stigma of informer. You don't want to be an informer. And until people in these communities start, because I firmly believe that most Jamaicans in these communities know who the criminals are. They know them. But what is it? They're afraid to talk, or they're getting something from these criminals. They're getting some kickback. It's possible. It's possible. A lot of people benefit from the crime. A lot of people benefit from the crime. So it pays you to keep your mouth shut. It pays to keep your mouth shut. But people don't want to be called informers. Big question now, guys. Especially to you, Daffy. What role does religion play in all this? What role does religion play in all this, David? You being a minister, do you think to people today religion is outdated? Do you think it's something of the past? Do you think it's relevant today? Because in a lot of countries, religion, Christianity, so to speak, is dying. Why do you think, David? Why, is it still relevant? Let me hear what you say. Is it still relevant here, David? Mr. Henry, religion. How do we see it today? Every time every week you take a paper, the church has to play a bigger role here. The church has to play a bigger role with this, with that. What do you think? But David, why does it seem like religion is on the way out? Because the churches today that basically seem empty. Remember back in the day, kids going to Sunday school, kids learning golden text. It's not even in school. And so they're saying it's a prayer of the faithful few that are keeping the country. But do you think we as a people value religion in more when people can go into a church and shoot people, go to a funeral service and shoot people? Do you think do you think it means that much to us anymore? Or we have seen so much crime that we have become, jaded to it. People dying and instead of people helping or people videotaping this to put on social media. And Orwell makes a bold statement here. Religion is totally irrelevant in the scheme of things. And David is saying moral values are based on our Judeo-Christian teaching. But are most youngsters being taught? Most youngsters being taught the Judeo-Christian values? Because, hey, David, I'm telling you the truth. There are some kids out there today in their teens. If you ask them anything from the Bible, whereas we grew up knowing all the Bible stories, because we had to read everything. Ask some people who was Noah, who was Moses. They have no idea. It means nothing to them. It means nothing to them. How can we, or do you think we can get back to that stage? Do you think we can get back to that stage where the Judeo-Christian teaching means something? Yeah, some kids about stories that you think they should know, they don't. A lot of them don't even go to church, man. A lot of them don't even go to church. One time we used to mold people and say, you only go to church, last thing you go to church or when you when you got christened. That don't even happen again. And it don't seem like the people are hearing the call at all, David. And I tried all week and I got it working, and then boom, nothing. Yes, David, I don't know if people are hearing the call. I don't think they're hearing the call. Let me see if I can fix it. Go ahead. Mhm, mhm. Wait, wait, hold on, David. Let me see if I can translate and let the other people hear. David is saying that, hey, if you look at the Western countries today, most of the laws have that Judeo Christian background. Okay? So, guys, since his audio is not coming through, let me try and give it to you that way. Go ahead, David. Mm-hmm. Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, guys, if you for those of you not hearing, David is just saying that a lot of countries have these laws that are coming straight out of the Judeo-Christian thing, and we can't we can't have anything too repressive against the people. Go ahead, David, and let me see if I can just transcribe for you. Mhm. Mhm. Okay. All right. So the Rome David is saying the Romans went against some of the Christian values. All right. Go ahead. Hmm. Hmm. All right. Hmm. Okay. 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 All right. Right. David is saying like with the United States, right? David is saying like, for example, in the United States, rich, powerful country, but the immorality is basically corrupting everybody. By the way, David, do you do you have access right now to say the internet, the computers? I can send you a link and you just log on. I, I'm gonna have you on screen. No, put your email in the text. Put your email in. Just text me your email. Text me your email. Mm-hmm. Come on. Yo, guys, we're gonna see if we can bring in David here. We're gonna we're gonna yeah, we're gonna see if we can bring him in because I'd really love to hear what he's saying. Yeah, man, just put the email in the text so I can just send you this and bring you on, and we talk some more. We talk. Come on, hold on, people. Please don't leave. We're just trying to get David in. As soon as he gives me his email, yes, and we hear how he looks at it from a Christian point of view. And if Orville wants to send me his email too, I bring him right in. Let's put the email in. Let's put the email in the text, man. And we will see, and we'll hear about how the church, what role they can play. Because some people think this whole religion is outdated. Go ahead, David. Just type your okay. Let me see. And it's coming to you in a minute. And that's at Gmail. Okay, I think I got it here. Okay. All right. Just click on that link, David, and you'll be in. Just click on that link and you'll be in. And we'll hear from Mr. Henry. Yeah, man. But yeah, some people think the whole church thing is, I don't think so. I think it's still relevant. I think it's still relevant. I think it's still relevant. Like you said, it lays a foundation for good morality. And if, hey, like Confucius said, look, if the home is good, the village will be good. If the village is good, the region will be good. And if the regions are good, wow, the country will be good. Mhm. All right, let's see if David will come in. Okay, here we have Mr. David coming in. Good.
Yes,
All right.
brother.
Camera and everything,
Uh,
David. Yes. Yes, sir. Welcome. Welcome. Welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah, man. Well, yeah. Go ahead now. Religion and the whole politics.
Yeah.
Mhm.
My perspective here is not saying, I mean, I'd like everybody to be a Christian. I
Mhm.
believe in that, obviously. But from a social standpoint, the teachings of Scripture over the years, has guided many countries in developing, their rules, their regulations, their moral compass. And I am going to
Hmm.
add that in many instances, the church has either been pushed back or has cowered, has not stepped up as it should.
Hmm. Uh-huh.
Like, I mean, if you were to go back, for instance, even in our country, in our history, and you reflect on a man, for instance, like Paul Bogle, was a Baptist preacher, right? One who saw the struggles in his community, in his
All right.
country,
Hmm.
and he stepped up because of the moral conscience and guidance that he had from his Christian background. He interacted with
Okay.
society to bring about change and
Hmm.
positive change. So to say that Christianity or the church is irrelevant, we are then segregating a part of our society that was, the country was built on many of its principles. Whether you like Anglican or Catholic or whatever, you can find fault with them or Baptist or whatever. But they are
Hmm.
part of the history. And the church is not some separate entity. It's people in your same community who is called by the gospel, wanting to serve God and wanting to live a certain way with their neighbors. And we set about these rules. So if we're
Okay.
going to throw the baby out with the bathwater, then what will we have? America is
Right.
struggling with the same problem now. People are saying, well, I don't believe in God, and they don't want that moral compass because then you go into things that scripture says wrong, that they want to live how they want to live.
They
But
want to
it is
live that way.
starting
All right.
problem in our society. And if we deny that, we are denying some of the truths of what is happening in our society. You know, I mean, look, there were times when religious groups worked with the kings and the powers that be to oppress the people,
Yep.
and that was wrong,
That was wrong.
right?
True. Hmm.
And them conquer countries in the name of God and this and that and all them thing, and oppress the Arawak Indians and kill them out and them do all kind of evil things, right? But if you look on the Bible and the teachings of it, not man's interpretation and the religions formed to benefit themselves, but you look at almost all our laws and see if biblically there's something that backs it up also.
All right. But David, what do you think? What do you think makes a man going to like a church and shoot somebody? A Jamaican in in our society here. All right. I get Orville's number 2. Mm-hmm. Orville wants
Yeah.
to come in too. Mm-hmm.
Yes. Bring him in. I want to see his face live, man. Because him talking some truth, we like to talk still. We might be disagreeing a little bit on this point here.
I disagree a little,
Okay.
but
You know,
I don't want
um,
to. I don't want to
but
fight it, sir.
no, but when I'm man, I mean, I look here, it happens here. But
Mm-hmm.
the basis of that is
Uh huh.
hatred, which is in a person's heart
Uh
for
huh.
other. Christianity don't teach that. Christianity, Christ teach us to love one another, to even love your enemy, do good to those that would do evil to you. So the principles there, if you look carefully at them, it would give for a better society if
Okay,
we
Orville, I
learn to
sent you a
live.
link. Double click on it, Orville. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, look. All right. Bob Marley was a Rasta man, but what was he trying to teach us through his music? What Silas was trying to teach us through his speech at the United Nations, right?
Mm-hmm.
Until the color of a man's skins have no more significance than the color. They are calling us to a higher calling,
Now you're
right?
calling, okay?
Rastafarians believe in God, them call him Jah. So many segments of our society, whether you say you're Christian or you're Rasta man or
Mm-hmm.
whatever it is, right? And them read them Bible and them understand in there what God's message is to his people, his creation, then they have a place at the table. And
True.
of course, if you push them out of the picture, what percentage of Jamaica would you be saying you guys are not relevant in this
All right.
discussion? It's our country too, you
All
know.
right.
We
From
love the
as a
country too.
minister, like I respect your standpoint. So as soon as Orville comes in, we really we're gonna hear from him
Yeah,
and
yeah, give
see.
him, yeah, yes, and him have a right.
Yeah,
We want to hear his voice and his view too, because
because he's talking. He's coming from a strictly political, political standpoint. Whereas you're more biblical. Orville is gonna be that political man.
Yeah, and
Orville, you got my link. Let's see. Let me type it again. RMASP at Gmail. Orville, if you get that link, just double click on it, set up your camera, and jump in, man. And we would like to welcome Miss Jean Martin Rayner. She is.
how do you do, Gene? I see your picture sometime. You're still a pretty girl.
Oh no, you're this one, no. Yeah.
And she can take that as gospel truth. I pass that tell her life on her. Tell her that.
Yeah, pass it on
Let me tell you.
to. And
Oh
Gene,
man.
while you're there, Gene, what do you think about that salary, that remuneration package? What do you think about it, Gene? Just put something in it. We want to hear your input. What do you think about the Minister of Finance and the Prime Minister putting that package out there? What would your granddad have said about that? Putting
You
on the
gone
spot, Gene.
you see your son, you got touch something there. Oh, listen. I grew up the road from Gene, right?
Yep.
And my family was predominantly PNP. I have voted once in my life. One time.
Got that.
And yes, when I was young, when I just reached voting age,
Uh-huh.
I felt it my civic duty. But after that, I got really disenchanted with it. But still, I support my country in other ways. I believe myself without the vote that I am still very civic minded and
Hmm.
not to go and brag about those things. But I love my country, even though I'm stateside now. Still maintaining a business down there. Still support church work down there, and just people in general.
And just people
You
general.
know, and
Come on, Gene. Come on, man. Say something,
come
Gene.
on, Gene, talk to us.
Come on, Gene. What do you think about the Minister of Finance and his speech? Do you think Orville thinks it was a blunder? What do you think, Gene? Do you think it was something calculated or really a mistake? Any idea? I don't know what's taking Orville.
Look here, let me jump in there. So you say, Sarge, I think it was calculated. Look on it careful.
Mhm,
They did not just pop in a race for themselves. They looked at several other, prominent
mhm,
job descriptions across the board,
mhm.
and that was up to two. And I think in doing that, the classic kind of divide and conquer thing. So
Yep.
if you
All
can
right.
get, the top teachers and the top nurses and the doctors and the this and the that, and they can say, yeah, I'm getting a raise, so I'm all for that. You see what happened now? The little man down where his back is bearing most of the burden.
Mhm,
There's going to be a split, but they are influential people. They are in position of good finances and some influence and power, and they might convince some of their lower downs, of coming on board. So I think that is calculated in that sense,
okay.
because if
Yeah.
they just take something for themselves, everybody would on a
Was there?
street.
I don't know. Can somebody from Jamaica tell me? Was there anything for the police? Was there anything for the police?
That's
I
a good
I
one.
don't I don't recall seeing anything. Well, did any of the cops get a raise?
Let me tell you, so I just touched cops, you see. I mean, I said they are doing the best job in the world, but we have some good policemen down there. But them don't have the resources to
They
fight
don't have
crime the way
resources.
they
Yep.
should.
Yep.
Years ago, I was saying this to people. I say, why is it that they don't even, I know that they send some of our higher ranking policemen sometimes to England and various countries to look at how crime is solved and get training. What happened to just putting cameras up on top of light poles that you can be catching various cars going along in a metropolitan areas? That when guys come into a car and jump in a car, you can be tracking them.
Yeah,
You can get license plate. Encourage business places to have more cameras in that anywhere you go, you are being taped. Because anywhere you go in America here, anytime you step out of your house, several times you are going to be caught on a
A
camera
camera is
somewhere,
gonna pick you up.
right? And it's like those things that instead of these millions what they are putting in, buy some camera because crime hurts our country more than we realize. Because we may have tourism going, but you see what has been happening to tourism over the past several decades. They have shifted into the all inclusives.
Yeah, nobody wants to
And it's
come out.
nice, because last year we went down for a family reunion thing on my wife's side, and it was an all-inclusive thing. We stayed on Montego Bay side, and you go in, you don't have to come out. But when you do come out, you go in a big bus, and we go down a Chucker Cove, in another
Wait, so
controlled environment.
hold on. Here comes Arvel.
Yeah, hey,
Yes,
welcome to
sir,
all.
Spence. What's up, my brother? Looking good, man.
Mr. Henry and Mr.
Hey,
Wallace.
all you have to do is shave out the beard, and you don't look like me more handsome. If you grow mine out, it white same way.
Yeah, yes, yes, Arvel. Glad to have you on, man. Glad I wanted to get you
Yeah,
from for a long time, Arvel.
I'm
Uh,
glad to be here. I think what you're doing is a very good thing, and I
uh,
just hope other classmates, schoolmates would see the need and join. It's a good thing.
yeah, I'm
yeah.
hoping. I'm hoping,
It's
man.
a good community to be in.
Yeah, yes, man. So, as a comrade,
As a
what
Jamaican,
advice? All right, a Jamaican comrade.
That is why that man have my vote, That's
Yeah,
why
I don't vote for him
I
too.
will get my
I
vote.
don't vote for him
I
too.
like him talk.
What do you think wrong with the party?
there are a number of issues. There are issues relating to ego, issues relating to not really looking at what a party should be, what it should represent,
Hmm.
but who certain persons think should be the right leader. As I said before, a party is really geared and designed to win an election.
To win an
And,
election.
and the way the PNP has been functioning over the last 2 years, it seems like it just don't want to win an election. It is just there to be in opposition.
So wait, when you look at the last election, how would you categorize it? Would you say it was a JLP win or a PNP loss?
It was a PNP loss, and and there are a number of factors. It was called during COVID.
Hmm.
It was called during the pandemic, really.
Hmm.
Um, a lot of people did not go. Yeah, and if you remember, I think it was 23% of the electorate
Yeah.
that really
Hmm.
participated in the election, and a lot of people did not go out to vote basically because of what the pandemic at the time offered.
Okay.
Uh, the PNP had its core support amongst middle-aged voters who would be more skeptical of mixing and mingling to go out and vote. Hence, they did not. Uh, the PNP at the time was coming out of a kind of infighting again.
Hmm. Right.
Uh, so I don't think it really got its footing to really convince the populace that they wanted to be government. And if you look at the PNP over the last 2 3 leaders, if you looked at Michael Manley, uh, you look at Portia Simpson, you look at PJ Patterson, they brought a kind of charisma
Yeah. Hmm.
to the
Yep.
platform. And you have to understand the Jamaican politics is kind of leader centric, where the leader has to have that captivating appeal plus having ideas.
Yeah. The leader is the party, and the party is the leader.
Yeah, my take on the current leadership aspect of the PNP is that it will be left to the MPs, to the
Uh,
aspiring MPs, to garner persons into the ballot box and not the leader. And before it was different, where it was the
the leader.
leader who
Hmm.
was responsible for bringing people into the ballot box, into into casting your ballots, and not the MPs. But it's the other way. It's turning the other way around now.
What do you think is wrong? I don't want to say anything bad about the man, but what do you think is wrong with Goldie? Is
All
he
right.
too bland? Is he too much of an academic or what?
No, I think From my Golding is a gentleman.
Right.
I won't take that from him. But he's not connecting. There's no connection. And it's not race. But he seemed not to get the true essence of what it is to connect. So if you speak to the man on the street, he'll tell you, I'm not feeling him.
Yeah, feeling it.
And somebody who you're not feeling, you would not want that person to represent you. Because he or she would not represent you well as far as you're concerned.
Sorry, okay.
So, and I've been to a number of meetings with him, and he walking into a room, unlike Peter Phillips or a Portia Simpson or a PJ Patton or even a Lisa Hanna, you feel it. You feel the presence. They have this leadership aura around them. Once they step into a room, you'll feel it. Golding is not so.
Okay. Yes, back to where we're saying about religion, and you said religion, you don't think it's relevant. Why do you think so, Abel?
Religion over the years has lost its relevance. And religion now is kind of hijacked by the televangelists, the person who wants to use religion now to feather their pockets, to live a certain lifestyle. That is what religion now is centered around. And you see, young people, with this advent of the internet, you can no longer have the younger persons who thinks differently, because they are now educated not by just a person sitting in a classroom, but they are visually seeing what religion means and what religion has done to the world. So they, in essence, do not want to be part and parcel or to be subjugated to a religious dogma. They don't want to be.
Do you think it hurts the society or helps?
You see, as David alluded, from a moral perspective, there might be some disadvantage to the society. But when you look at, as you said previously, when you look at men shooting a pastor in church, the church being robbed of its furniture, being robbed of equipment. As a child growing up at churchyard, I thought a churchyard was sacred.
Yep. Yeah.
So it tells you that it has lost its relevance. There's really no substance to religion anymore.
Wait, guys, David, would you go
I
into
beg to disagree, though.
wait, David,
If I might, yes, go ahead.
would you go into politics?
Me?
Do you think a pastor can get involved in politics?
I'm not saying him can't, but I wouldn't go in it.
You wouldn't go
And
in
I'll
it.
go and tell you why. I'll tell you some. But before I answer that part, let me say this. Pure religion and undefiled is this: that you visit the fatherless and the widows in their affliction. True religion is centered around the idea of serving others for good. And the ultimate good is eternal life. Right? With our Creator. That's the ultimate objective of pure Christian religion. Now, I will agree with Mark, but I think it is that you see a lot of this concept of religion being kind of hijacked by the televangelists and so on. But I think that if you look back more carefully at it, that yes, you have those charlatans, and the Bible warns you about them. Good word, Romans, the
Are
last
you
chapter
saying,
says,
are
good word.
you saying I'm a charlatan, Mr. Henry?
Eh? No, you see, like Mark, it's like how you don't just come out plain and say, "Boy, there are some things where you see in the PNP party and leadership, and you just speak and so you see, this is just how I am too,
All right.
right? In religion, you have preachers out there; they are just in there for lining pockets,
Right.
and them out there in big business, them they on them TV every day, and them have them things structured. But to me, I might sound judgmental and condemning, but the Bible speak about some of them. It said, but with pure, with good words and fair speeches, they deceive the hearts of the simple. And they that are such, they don't serve God, but they must serve them own bellies.
But David, when you look at
Right?
the average youngster out there, he's not looking at the heavenly reward. He wants it now. He wants
All
it
right.
now.
But all right. Yes. But let us look at it practically. Right? Because if you focus on the big TV guy, right? They are not the majority of who are Christians, The majority of people who are Christian and who are affected by the Christian religion are ordinary people like me and you out there. We are trying to live good with the neighbor, I try to help
All
out
right.
each other, But you have some guys who hijack that. Just like how you have some politicians who go in there, they don't go in there with the intention to serve the people, but to enrich themselves. So in just about any system, you could find some faults, and the ones that are big up there, you might say that they are it, and they are all that describes it. But if you take a more careful look, put the individual out of it and look at the principles it represents. And that's why I say, even in politics, it's all going to organize ourselves as a country, as a people, for live together and to go forward. Let me just say in a basic sense, right? Um, and Christianity and its teachings, not a particular preacher and his greed or whatever I'm after, but the principles that's behind that. And that's why I was earlier. I say, even in our politics, we have to re-examine how our political system is set up and how they have benefited from it, and the people have not gained as much as they should have. Because the system is set in such a way. I mean, look, me born and grew up in Jamaica. I know some of the political people them operate and how the corruption work. Me seen it with my own eyes, and me understand it. You understand me? And them know how to get them thing going and how to do them thing. But at the end of the day, I have a grandson I want to sleep.
All right.
But
Okay.
he's a little guy
Yes, man.
like me,
Yes, sir. All
He's
right.
a little guy like me. But Mark, you raised some good points too. But as I said, sometimes we can't look at the person, but we have to look at the system. So in looking at the Christian system then, what the true teachings are in there and what the intent of it. If we look at our politics, what is our intent and what kind of system we have? Do we have the best system? Can it be made better?
Yeah, but
You know?
David, when you look at religion, especially the Christian religion, this was what was used to enslave and to kill millions of people. We are in the Caribbean because of Christianity. We were enslaved primarily because of the religion that was taught to our ancestors to keep them enslaved. And you now are asking uh, a populace to subjugate themselves once more to something that is responsible for a most heinous crime that was cast on our foreparents.
Well,
Interesting.
how I respond to that is simply this: Christianity comes from Christ and his teachings. If you want to take Christopher Columbus, King James, um, any other Roman leaders who eventually started to say, you know what, we can stamp this, or let's use this in a way. It is like any other system that a person can take and remodel and corrupt it in a way
All right.
and use it for their own benefit. And I agree with you. I agree with you that that's what they did. That's what the Europeans did for the most part. As they came across, traveled west by the leadership of Columbus and captured in the name of Christianity. But I reject the idea that what Christianity truly is teaching humanity to do. But I will agree
Why?
that in its
But
corrupted form, that's what it must do.
we're going to continue. We're going to continue this another night. David, go put your grandson to sleep. We're gonna get you back another night. We are gonna get you back another night, man. Arville, looking at the PNP, you see, they seem, like I said earlier, they seem to have taken this moral high ground. When, like you said, the aim of a party is to win an election, right?
One of the
If
primary aims,
one of the what?
one of the most fundamental aims of a party is to win an election.
I would think it's the most fundamental aim. 'Cause if you don't win, you can't do nothing.
Of
But
course,
if the other guy is doing something nefarious, what sense does it make keeping that high moral ground? Like the PNP is always.
I think, for want of a better word, the PMP keeps playing catch up.
Mhm.
They are not intrinsically wired to. You see, previously the PMP subscribed to a philosophy, more than a socialist philosophy. We have lost that essence.
Mhm.
We do not. If you ask them what are the tenets of the PMP, they'll struggle to tell you.
Mhm. True.
There's no philosophy. We are just like the GLP. There's nothing that really separates us now, except one is orange and one is green.
That's true. That is so true.
There, there,
Talking to
there, there-
party members.
there's really no difference.
Oh boy, but it's gonna be interesting to see what happens. It's gonna be interesting to see what happens because how do you believe a PNP MP? Why do you believe he can go back to his constituents and say no with this big increase?
If I'm sure you're following social media,
Mhm.
and if you look at what 90% of the respondents are saying, they are both fed up with. They are fed up with both parties. So we are in for interesting times.
So you think PNP should bank on Damian and Lisa,
We have to look for new
new
thinking.
leadership?
Damien, I think needs a little bit more maturity, but in terms of galvanizing a crowd, in terms of uh, getting people to support a particular position, then he could be that person. Uh,
Okay,
when it comes to natural love for a person, then Lisa would be
Lisa, that
the
person.
prime
Okay,
candidate. Because the Jamaican people has that love for her.
okay.
So the PMP has to look has to look inward. They in moving forward they have to, just like in the 70s when the PMP came together and said the best person to take this party to a new level was Michael Manley. Just like when they said when PJ Patterson looked at everybody around and the brightest minds in the PMP and said, I think only Portia can take the party through an next election. They were within themselves smart enough to realize the party
Realize.
could not
Okay.
go any further unless they took that step or decision. We are at a crossroad where we are not able to take that decision.
Why, Avril? One of these, I hope you can come back on again. 'Cause one of these nights, I want to get you and a couple more PNP people
Yeah, man.
in a
Just
debate with some GLP people.
yeah, man. Just
And we, you know,
give me a heads up a few days
yeah, man,
before. So
right? And we, yeah, and we get something going with
yeah,
some
man.
intelligent people, and instead of this cuss, we have a
Yeah,
good, intelligent,
and
informed decision.
we must do Garfield is try to get this amongst more of the old students to let them be a
Yeah,
part
yeah,
of,
yes,
you know.
yes, yes, yes. I talked to one this evening.
Yeah,
Yep, I talked to one this evening. He's
yeah,
willing to
yeah,
come on.
you have to market the thing and market what you're doing.
Yeah, man, I want some of them older guys from the 60s to. I talked to one this evening, and he's willing to come on. But
And you
we'll
have to
talk about that, man.
I don't know why you don't ask Miss Reina to be your strategist to get the person on board.
Hey, I think that lady would do good in politics. Yeah.
You know, she
She
would.
walking, she walking her granddad's footstep, and
She would.
I think people pushing her towards that.
Yeah, but she seems to be too much on the fence. I've been
Yes.
trying to take her from the fence, but she's not budging.
Lord, you will cuss it tomorrow. Anyway, Mark, thanks a lot for coming on here, man. We're going
Yeah,
to meet
man.
again. We're going
All
to meet
right.
again earlier too. All
All right,
right,
guys.
easy, my
Bye.
brother. Thanks a lot, man. All
Cool.
right. Ladies and gentlemen, that's all from Rock the Mic tonight. And we hope we hear some more about what the parliamentarians are doing. We hope to hear some more from the Prime Minister and the Minister of Finance and also the leader of the opposition. We'd like to really hear what he thinks. And somebody's trying to get Mark Golding on with me one night. And I think that will be very soon in the future. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you. Daffy, David, all of you guys for coming on. I appreciate it. Thank you very much. Rock the mic.